Dr. Dre is about to cash out again. 200 some odd $1 million. Would you cash out, or would you keep the rights to your music? Let's get into some of this straight game.
Yeah. Blackjack. Life is like a game of cards. It's not what you dealt, but how you play it. Yeah. Blackjack. To play each situation correctly. I remember they used to laugh at a brother.
Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. It's your boy DELRAY, Richardson, platinum artist, platinum songwriter, Straight Game TV. I thank you for tuning in. I appreciate your time. Do me a favor and hit the thumbs up button notification as it helps people to subscribe to the channel. Also, if you have not subscribed, please do so yourself, and also tell a friend. And like I always say, this is your first time tuning in to Straight Game TV, and you would like to be one of the first people notified when I drop some of this straight game, please do me a favor and hit that little bell notification right below this video. I'm going to get right into it. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Dre is about to cash in again. I'm going to say it again. Dr. Dre is about to cash in again. For most people who are familiar with the music business and how it works, or should I say the deal that Dr. Dre did involving the Beats by Dr. Dre headphones, right? Making him the first hip hop billionaire, coming directly from the hip hop game, and then basically going into the corporate world and branding the headphones and the Beats music service, right? So most people think when Dr. Dre became the first billionaire in hip hop, they think that Dre, the headphones is what did it. But more importantly than the headphones, and this basically ties into the deal that Dr. Dre is about to do right now with Universal Music and also Shamrock Holdings, if you will. And so basically what happened was Dr. Dre, Jimmy Iovine, and Universal Music, basically they were going to start a Beats Music, sort of like iTunes, sort of like Apple's iTunes, right? The licenses for the music that Apple had licensed in order to use it on iTunes was about to expire. And so when that music and all of those licenses expired, Universal then would retain the rights back. And what they were going to do is they were going to start their own music service, and they were going to call it Beats Music Service, right? So Apple was like, they would be directly in competition with them. Not only would they be in competition with them, but they would have all the rights to the really good music in that catalog. Tupac, Eminem, Dr. Dre, you no doubt, you name it. All of those artists that ever recorded and music for Universal, as well as the masters that Universal owned, the publishing and all of that, they would be able to use that music in Dr. Dre's Beats Music Service. So what Apple did was, in turn, buy Dr. Dre's Beats headphones, the Beats brand, as well as the Beats Music Service. That's what they bought doing that deal, right? And so, which was a smart move, basically a M&A move, mergers and acquisitions. They acquired it. And basically, Dr. Dre and them, what they would normally have you do is sign a non-competing clause, meaning that you couldn't start no kind of service like that after they did that deal. But that ties directly into this situation. Dr. Dre, I think they sold it for like $3 billion. And Universal got a piece, Jimmy Iovine got a piece, Dr. Dre got a piece, and all of the people who were initial investors in the Beats situation, as well as, part of that deal. And so here we come now, just announced, Dr. Dre is now going to be selling his, publishing and royalty assets for the sum of $200 million, if you will. And so, Dr. Dre, Dre's about to do it again, man. You know what I mean? And a smart move, because Jimmy Iovine, he just sold his part of his music catalog, or no, should I say all of his music catalog, for around about $200 million, if you will. And so also Lil Wayne, he sold his music catalog for like, I think it was somewhere around 80 to $100 million. Who else was it? Future also sold his music basic for around about $60 million. And the list goes on. And the reason why artists are doing this at this particular time is just basically to cash out. You know what I mean? If you make the right investments and you do the right thing, you can basically live off the interest of that money. You know what I mean? So hopefully, you know, most of the artists, Wayne, Future, and all of them, you know what I mean? Hopefully they, you know, have the right financial advisors and they do that accordingly. You know what I mean? Just kick back and continue to create and so on and so forth. The situation with Dre, basically, Dr. Dre is selling a collection of music, basically the income streams, meaning the royalties, right? You know, so it, like, and some other assets in the deal that was being pitched for like $250 million. You know what I mean? So Dre wanted, like, I guess, you know, $250 million this time, you know, for all of the income streams. Basically, the music that he was selling, the income streams of the music that he was selling, basically bringing about $10 million a year. And so, you know, basically that's a good deal. You know what I mean? You can't take it with you. So like I said, once again, it's a good thing to cash out, you know, set up some kind of trust or something like that. And so that the generations of your family can live off of that income. And number one, more so than that, you would want to be the person that sell the rights to your music and not you pass away and have somebody in your family do it, because they probably wouldn't know what they're doing. You know, it's best for the person who actually created the music and has something to do with the music to sell the catalog before somebody else did it, you know, after you passed away. And so it basically says the assets which generate nearly $10 million annually are being acquired by Shamrock Holdings and Universal Music Group in two separate transactions. The deals, which have been rumored for several weeks, are said to be nearly closed and were shot by Dre's longtime attorney, Peter Paterno. Mr. Paterno is a very powerful lawyer of Kings, Holmes, Paterno, and Soriano. Basically, Billboard basically dropped this news, if you will, and it says reps for the firm Dre, Universal, and Shamrock all either declined or did not immediately respond to any requests for the comments. However, basically, they had a source close to Dr. Dre confirmed the report and said that the final sale and price was likely below the $250 million asking price, but well above $200 million. So, you know, 200, 225, 230, you know, whatever it is, Dr. Dre's cashing out again. You know what I mean? It said the assets are said to include artist royalties from two of his solo albums and his share of NWA's artist royalties, his producer royalties, and the writer's share of songs in his catalog where he doesn't own publishing, which may include songs from his 1993 blockbuster album, The Chronic. According to sources, basically that portion includes 75 to 90% of the package's revenue and is likely being acquired by Shamrock, which Shamrock is another company. Basically, they own some of Taylor Swift masters recordings. Now, with the thing with Taylor Swift, Taylor Swift wanted to buy her masters, but the guy that was in control of her masters chose to sell it to Shamrock, and that's why she had did. You know, I don't know if you people know, she had did the music over again so that she could own the masters to that, which was a brilliant move. So basically, they own some of Taylor Swift master recordings. The deal is also, like I said, being done with Universal Music Group, acquiring the remaining 10% to 25%, included in the Universal Music Group's acquisition would be the master recordings of the Chronic. So he gonna sell the masters to the Chronic. Dre owns the masters to the Chronic, which is scheduled to revert to Dre from Death Row Entertainment, which recently was acquired by Dr. Dre's protege, Snoop Dogg. So everybody who think that Snoop didn't really acquire Death Row, here you have it again, once again. Basically, it was acquired by Snoop Dogg. In August of this year, or should I say last year, his share of the Aftermath Interscope joint venture with the Top Dog label for Kendrick Lamar's releases through that deal, and possibly some other assets. So the deal that Dre actually did with Top Dog Entertainment and some of the, I would say, the masters or the publishing or whatever he owns in regards to Kendrick Lamar's album, basically some of that, some of those recordings or some of those intellectual properties would also be included in the deal that he's about to do for this $200 some odd million. Basically, it does not include his ownership stake in Aftermath Records, which he co-owns with his longtime label home, Universal Music Group and Interscope Records. So Dre's about to cash out again, man. For a lot of artists in the game, you know what I mean? This basically emphasizes that your publishing is very important. And retaining the rights to your music, understanding what the music business is about and the business of music, more so than just doing music, as you can see later on down the line. Dr. Dre's cashing out. Yeah, also Drake just did some kind of deal similar to this deal for like, was it $400 million or something like that, $300 million. And so, it's very lucrative, man, very lucrative situation involving the intellectual properties. And I always try to stress to people, you know what I mean? That's the first thing that you want to do, is to try to retain some ownership in your publishing, your masters, your writing, and all of those things. And so later on down the line, you can pass that revenue off to your family, to your children, and so on and so forth. Yeah. So Dr. Dre about to cash out for $200 plus million. You chime in, tell me what you guys think about this. You know what I mean? Think Dre making the right move? What would you do at this particular time? So your boy DELRAY, straight game.